San Diego real estate neighborhood diversity may soon be coming to your neighborhood. What I'm talking about here is income diversity. Yes, this is the latest under-the-radar utopian social engineering being pushed by the Obama administration. The administration is using the Department of Housing and Urban Development, HUD, to implement the new Neighborhood Income Diversity Program. The Obama administration is moving to implement income housing diversity in upscale and wealthier neighborhoods across the country. These new HUD regulations, which were quietly implemented last year, are applicable to all cities and communities that accept HUD funds for low-income affordable housing developments. Currently, there are approximately 1,250 communities nationwide, and unfortunately including San Diego County, that would be affected under these new regulations. Under the new regulations, the 1,250 communities are now required to examine patterns of neighborhood segregation and develop plans to address it. Those communities that don't comply would lose HUD funds that are now allocated to improve blighted neighborhoods and develop more affordable housing. Here's what a spokesman said about the program. HUD is working with communities across the country to fulfill the promise of equal opportunity for all. The proposed policy seeks to break down barriers to access the opportunity in communities supported by HUD funds. For those that may not be familiar with political speak, what HUD is saying to communities across the country that want to improve their blighted housing areas and develop more affordable housing is that unless they comply and income diversify their middle class and upper income communities, HUD will cut off their funding. In other words, this is government blackmail. The left's rationale is that communities in the United States have a history of putting affordable housing in poor areas, and that under the Fair Housing Act of 1968, HUD is required or obligated to take action. The right argues that the Fair Housing Act of 1968 applies to racial discrimination in housing, and that the new interpretation that it encompasses income diversity is off base. Republican Paul Gosar, a Republican from Arizona, said, American citizens and communities should be free to choose where they would like to live and not subject to the federal neighborhood engineering at the behest of an overreaching federal government. Another critic of these new regulations said, HUD bureaucrats will be in a position to decide on their own whether your particular town meets their ideal of racial and income distribution. And if you don't meet their ideal of that mix, you're not going to get any money. So if you want to live in a safe neighborhood, something commensurate with the efforts that you put into your education, that's still fine, as long as there are low-income housing development a couple of blocks away. In conversations with other real estate brokers in San Diego about this new rule, I found that there is a tremendous amount of misunderstanding on the implementation. It seems people from mid to upper income neighborhoods, such as La Jolla or Rancho Santa Fe, believe that because of zoning restrictions and or lack of undeveloped land parcels, these new rules will not affect them. The fact is, these rules are actually aimed at just such neighborhoods. It's my understanding that local communities will be encouraged to disregard local zoning requirements in order to implement this new regulation. Plus, if you think there's no developable land within your neighborhood, the talk is that if there is city or community-owned property, let's say schools or a fire station or a library, that can be consolidated or closed, then that property can be used for low-income housing development, and zoning restrictions can be ignored in favor of implementing the federal government policies. I guess the left's utopian dream is that a U.S. citizen can always choose where to live, as long as there's a low-income housing development within each and every neighborhood. So let's stop trying to improve blighted neighborhoods and instead spread the blight to all neighborhoods in the name of equality. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a thumbs up or a tweet or a social media tag. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel because YouTube will automatically notify you every time we post a new video. Last but not least, you owe it to yourself. Check out broker4you.com. That's broker, BROKER, FORYOU.com. Thanks for watching.